Okay, my kids are back there talking about toys instead. Anyways, what I want to do about this here video is I want to talk about rage. Alright, I want to talk about rage because, you know, just recently there's been a series of events that, you know, have been orchestrated. Alright, basically what rage is a tool. Rage is a tool for the trolls, the haters, and the internet terrorists. And what they do is they will get someone a target and they will lure that person in for one reason or another into a group of them, and then they will poke that person and aggravate and agitate that person until they get them mad. Alright, and then when they get them mad and they get them screaming at them, then they record it, put it on YouTube and say, see, he really is demented. He really is mentally deficient. He really does need psychiatric help. He really is trying to hurt people. He really is a monster, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever it is they're trying to do. And see, that's how they did my wife. You know, they would get me all upset and frustrated, and then my wife would see that and say, my God, he really is, you know. Then they would tell her on Facebook, or they would tell her on Yahoo Messenger, yeah, look how mean he gets. Look how evil he is. Look how dangerous he is, Andrea. You need to leave him. You need to go away from him. See, it's a tactic. It's a tactic that they use. They get that person, whoever it is that they're targeting, they get them angry. They get them upset. They get them to say shit. They get them to scream and rage and vent. And then when they do that, they record it. You know, or they'll bring in a bunch of strangers and say, look, see, we were right. We were right about that Von Helton. He really is mean. He really is dangerous. He really is crazy. And see, that's how they do it. And then they get all kinds of new followers hating on me because they're showing me raging. But what they don't show, what they don't tell nobody, is that they were the ones that got me upset in the first damn place. They cut all that out. They don't show that part, see? They don't show the part where they're sitting there aggravating and aggravating and aggravating and aggravating me until I get angry. They don't show that part. They cut that part out when they do their video. All they show is the part where I'm angry and I'm screaming and I'm raging at them and whatnot. But see, it's a tactic, folks. It's a tactic that they like to use. Okay, so now if you come here to my channel because you watched Jay Stevio's Vaughn Live show just recently, as in this morning, you know, or his iVlog, or the Google Hangout, which somebody wonderfully recorded and posted on YouTube. If you've seen those things where I'm getting angry, you got to understand why I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry because these people kept poking me and poking me and poking me and would not leave me alone. Okay, that's the point. Even though I was told that if I went in there, it would be drama free. I would not be harassed. I would not be antagonized. That it would be drama free. Okay, but that was a lie. Now, wasn't it? Okay, obviously it was a lie because everybody and their fucking brother was in that goddamn room that day harassing the fuck out of me. The whole goddamn list was nothing but my haters. The whole list was nothing but people that hated me and were sitting there harassing the fuck out of me. And then finally I got angry and I left. You know, but see, in the meantime, I got angry. I almost got hoarse. I was screaming so bad, really. And, you know, and that's not good for my blood pressure. It's not good for anything, really. I mean, heart trouble runs in my family. What if I'd have had a fucking heart attack? See, nobody cares, though. Nobody gives a shit because it's fucking Von Helton. It's that evil Von Helton guy. And see, if I croak over dead, that just gives them more lulz. That gives them more laughs. In other words, L-U-L-Z. Okay, that's a term that these terrorists use. Okay, and what it means laughs, is what it means. It means laughs. They get laughs out of it. They get joy out of it. They get joy out of seeing somebody in agony. They get joy out of seeing somebody mentally break down live on Vaughn Live or on Google Hangout or whatever. Okay, they literally harassed me until I literally broke down. I had to go back and watch the video because I did not know I had broken down. My mind had blocked it out. But when I went back and watched the video again, I saw where I literally had broken down. I literally had a nervous breakdown live in a Google Hangout, and they recorded that shit and posted it to YouTube. That's how evil these fucking people are. So if you're hanging out with these people, if you're dialoguing with these people, you need to know that you're dialoguing with a bunch of terrorists, a bunch of people that literally talked to my wife behind my back and convinced her to leave her husband and her children and go out here and find somebody else. Well, what did they say, Bon? They told her, they said, your husband's a deadbeat, he's never going to amount to anything, he's never going to be anybody, and you need to leave him for somebody else. Now, I imagine that first year, she's probably like, well, fuck you, I ain't gonna leave my husband, he loves me. You know, but that second year, doubt got into her mind. That third year, she's looking for somebody. And by the time that fourth year got here, she's out the door, man. She's gone. Okay, that's how it probably went down. That's how it probably went down. But see, they had been working on Andrea for a long time. Andrea, before she left this house, admitted that she had been talking to these trolls for a long time. She didn't say how long, but she had obviously been talking to them for a long time. And we know for a fact she had talked to John Chacon since early last November, easily. Okay, we know that one for a fact. So, you know, so it was all pre-planned. It was all planned out in advance, how they would coerce my wife to leave her husband and her family and go out here and sow her wild oats or whatever the fuck. Okay, that was the plan from day one. They don't give a fuck about Andrea. They don't care about Andrea. It was all about destroying Andrea's marriage. And these fat cows, some of them, not all, but some, were jealous as fuck of Andrea. They were jealous that Andrea had a loving husband. They didn't want that. They hated that shit. They hated Andrea. They hated me. They didn't like the fact that Andrea had a husband that loved her, and so they sought about to destroy my marriage. And the guys were the same way. The guys were jealous as fuck that I had a young, hot-looking wife. They did not want that. They wanted my marriage destroyed, and so they set about to doing exactly that. And then what they'll do, see, they'll spin it all back onto me, saying, well, Von Helton, you should have done more. You should have done this. You should have done that. There's no way I'm going to fight against thousands of people contacting my wife and telling her to leave me, okay? I can't fight against that many people. There's no way. I can't do it. There's just too many people. All right, but, you know, the point is this. The point is that if you see one of these rage videos where I'm screaming and yelling and, you know, cursing and all this, calling people bitch and calling people asshole, overlook it. Because I'm raging at them. I'm not raging at you. I'm not raging at my wife. I'm not raging at the attorneys or the counselors or the judge or anybody else. I'm raging at the trolls who are harassing me in a supposedly benign environment. It was supposed to have been a benign environment. Well, it ended up being anything but, okay? So if you see one of these videos, just ignore it. Just ignore it and drive on. I mean, you see how calm I am now. You see I'm not raging right now. Okay? What they did, they would corner me and start all this shit about me, you know, and get me mad. That's all it was. That's all it was. Okay? So if you see one of these rage videos, just ignore it. Just ignore it and go on. Okay? Because it doesn't apply to you. It doesn't apply to my wife or the court case or any of that shit. Okay? It's all about, you know, them wanting to put blame on me, wanting to, you know, try to get me, you know, try to tell. See, there was a bunch of strange people that allegedly came in the room, and they started jumping on me too because I'm sitting there screaming. But see, what they don't know is that they come into the room late. They didn't see what was happening prior. They didn't see how everybody had ganged up on me, and that I was literally outnumbered 500 people to 1. 500 people to 1. Literally. Okay? Well, I don't have a chance in those odds, do I? No, of course not. I don't have a fucking chance in those odds. Alright, so if you see it, and you will see it, because they're going to post it all over fucking YouTube, you can bet on that. So when they do, just ignore it. Just fucking ignore it and drive on. Okay? Because they're going to want you to watch it. Hey, look at this. It's Von Helton raging. Well, yeah, so what? You poked him with a stick until he did rage. If you hadn't have poked him with a stick, he wouldn't have raged. See, simple as that, all right? And that's all you got to say. And then just go on. Because that's what, you know, that's the gist of it right there. All right? But I do not, let me emphasize for the record, I do not hate my wife. The trolls are trying to make Andrea believe that I hate her. Okay, and they have convinced her that I want to even kill her. They have actually convinced my wife that I'm out to kill her. Okay, which is not true. It's just not true. I don't hate her. I don't want to kill her. In fact, I love her, and I would really appreciate it if she'd just come back home. But, you know, they have so brainwashed my wife that I don't think she's ever coming back home. I really don't. I don't think she's ever coming back home. I don't think if I... Now I was going to, if we go back to court this next time, I was actually going to suggest marriage counseling to see if she would be interested in going to marriage counseling, not for my sake, but for the sake of the children. But you know what? To be brutally honest with you, she's probably so brainwashed by this time that nothing I say or nothing I do would matter. Okay, she's totally out there in limbo somewhere, because now she's got all these battered women telling her that men suck, that you should hate men. Men suck. Men are evil. Men, look what this man did to me. He broke my arm. Look what this man did to me. He stabbed me in the chest. Look what this man did to me. He shot me with a pistol. You know, and she's hearing this shit over and over and over again, day after day after fucking day. And so now her mind is so against men, she's probably a fucking lesbian by now. You know, she said she was going to be a lesbian long before she fucking left the house, you know, and so now she's, oh my God, you know, now she probably is one, you know, probably totally turned against men by now, because she's hearing all these horror stories about how evil men are. But see, the bitch of it is that I'm sure not one person in that safe house has said, hey, wait a minute, Andrew, there ain't a mark on your body nowhere. What are you doing in here? This is a home for battered women. What the hell are you doing in here? There ain't no marks on your body. See, that would be my first question if she walked through the door. Is, okay, let me see where you were beaten or shot or stabbed or, you know, burned or something. You know, show me something. Well, she's got nothing to show them. And when I bring the doctor and the gynecologist in, and they confirm and affirm that she's never had a mark on her body in the 4 years she's been here, well, that's going to do it in for Andrea now, isn't it? Okay, because this is they're apparently going to try to drag this shit out. So I'm just going to bring the fucking doctors in there, and when the doctors confirm that they ain't been a mark on her body in 4 fucking years, that's going to be the end of the fucking battered woman shelter right there. Bam, done. Okay, because if she's a battered woman, she's a battered woman. She's going to have marks on her body, and she ain't had no marks on her body in 4 years. Okay, she just ain't. All right. But anyways, I wanted to talk about this raid shit because Jay Stevio thought he'd be clever and try to get me in a couple of situations where I would rage so that they would record it and post it all over the internet. And so I wanted to give a heads up to that shit and to let you know to basically just ignore it. Okay, because I was mad at them. I was mad at them for sticking their nose into my business. Now, their excuse is, well, you put it on the internet. I don't give a fuck what I put on the internet. That don't give you the excuse to tell my wife to leave me. There's no fucking way that you can justify telling my wife to leave me. It's not your place. That's not your place. It's up to Andrea to decide whether she leaves me or not. Not you. Not anybody else. Okay, but these trolls decided to interject themselves into my personal life. They literally talked to my wife behind my back and compelled her to leave her husband and her children. And it's a shame, because now she's not going to see the kids, because I'm going to keep the kids as close to me as I can. And as long as the kids are right next to me, she can't come anywhere near them. She can't come anywhere near them. She's not allowed within 500 feet of me. She's not allowed to talk to me, talk to the kids or anything. Because I'm going to see to it that them kids are glued to my happy ass. I'm not going to let them anywhere near her. She's violent. She abused these children physically, verbally. And now that I've read these private messages of hers where she's having cyber sex with these men and how she's wanting all these crazy sexual desires and shit, I don't want that shit near my daughters. No fucking way do I want that shit near my daughters. Yes, she had problems. Okay, fine. But that don't mean I should allow her to get around these kids and give them her problems too. I don't want that. Okay, I do not want that shit given to my children. Hell, I don't even want to give them to the boy. I don't want the boy around her either. You know. But she's wanting to engage in all these devious sexual activities, and I don't want that around my children. I'm sorry. You know, if she wants to go out here and do that shit, fine. But she's not going to get around my kids. No way in hell. No way in hell do I want that shit around my kids. You know, she has to choose. She has to make a choice. Either sexual deviancy or a stable family. She has to make a choice. Okay, and obviously she made that choice, didn't she? She chose sexual deviancy over a husband that loved her and children that needed her. Okay, she's already made her choice. And so, you know, even though I was considering offering marriage counseling for the sake of the children, I'm thinking about actually not doing that. In fact, I've had a couple people tell me, don't do it. You know, if, you know, she's already rejected reconciliation twice, that should be enough. I don't know. I'm still kind of in the air about it. But, you know, it'll all depend on her demeanor. Now, if I go into court and her demeanor is still stuck-up attitude, then no, I'm not going to do shit for her. she can go pound sand, and she's not going to see the kids. In fact, I'm going to file an EPO that she stays 2,000 feet away from me and the children at all times. Because I do not want my children to grow up being sexual deviants. I'm sorry, but I don't. Excuse me. You know, I don't want that shit for my children. You know, I'm sure there's probably people out there that think that's perfectly okay. Well, I think it's not okay. I do not want my children to be sexual deviants. Okay, so I don't want that shit around my kids. Now, as far as anything the trolls might be doing in the future, you know, I'm sure they're going to try to claim that I'm this evil motherfucker that, you know, even though I've got video out there, almost 3 months of video out there showing where I'm taking care of the kids, keeping the house clean, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, you know, they don't care. Okay, they're still going to try to paint me as the bad guy because they want to paint Andrea as the good guy. Okay, so there's still going to be hate out there, believe me. But my days of participating in live groups is over. That much is clear, because all it's done is just got me upset, and you know, my family is prone to heart trouble anyway. So I do not need that crap. Okay, I just don't need it. And so I'm not going to be doing any more live performances unless I am in control of that room. And even then, it'd probably be just to play music. Now, I played a bunch of music on iVlog the other night. It was a good show. Everybody enjoyed the music. Everybody had a good time. There wasn't no screaming or yelling or none of that shit. And everybody had a good time. And that's the type of shows I want to do. I don't want to do none of this rage bullshit because it's not good for me. It's not good for my heart. Okay? My heart's already broken. I don't need to have it fucking stop working on me, okay? So, but anyway, that's all I want to do. I wanted to get this out because, you know, I'm sure they posted the shit on YouTube by now. And if you see something like that, if you see Von Helden, you know, if you put Von Helden in a YouTube search and you see all these fucking hate videos about me, just ignore them. Just ignore them. They don't live here. I do. Okay? And all they get to see is what the camera shows them. They don't get to see the times when I took Andrea and the kids to the park. They don't get to see the time that we went to Walmart and shopped. They don't get to see the times when I sat there and worried sick over her while she was in the doctor's office. See, they don't get to see those times. Because if they saw those times, it would totally destroy their paradigm. And they don't want their little fake world about me destroyed. Okay, they don't, you know, so they're not gonna listen to that. They're not gonna have anything to do with that. Okay? But there, you know, there's times when Andrea doesn't even know this. There was a few times when she was in the doctor's office that I literally was scared to death that, you know, she was going to die on me. Okay, because it had to do with her downstairs. And I was scared to death that she was going to die, and I was actually crying at one point because I thought she was going to die. And, you know, Andrea doesn't even know this one. But anyway, the point is that if you see these videos, just ignore them. It's obviously a setup, and just acknowledge it as such, and just drive on. Okay? Alright, that's all I got. Have a pleasant day. See you. Bye-bye.